大家好, I'm Nathan Rich, aka 火锅大王. Today I want to expose some real truth to you. While the US government continues to tell people not to worry, don't panic, stop buying toilet paper, some people are saying something a little bit different than that.
We are about to experience the worst public health epidemic since polio.
In a previous video, I covered the question of what if China really was underreporting their cases? But now we're pretty sure that America's underreporting their cases. And they're actually underreporting them by much, much more than people were even suspecting China of underreporting them. So we know that America is the #1 country in underreporting their cases right now. Some estimates of the expected cases are 2 million people. But how much are they underreporting?
And people need to take this seriously.
Okay, is this the guy from Portlandia? I mean, who is this guy?
Dr. Marty McCary, professor of public health at Johns Hopkins University.
Oh, it's a Johns Hopkins professor. And he's telling people that the United States is going to experience the worst public epidemic since polio. Why? Well, because the United States has had 3 months to prepare, but has done nothing. A lot of people think that this has to do with Trump, and there's definitely evidence of motive there because he wants to get reelected and he knows if an epidemic is admitted by the CDC, the economy is going to continue to crash, and that's the only thing he's really got to claim for his achievements as president. All the other stuff he did was sort of minor. So he's been riding this wave of look how great the economy is right into his re-election campaign. And if that tanks, what does he have? So he definitely doesn't want to be a single-term president. So there is evidence of motive there, but that's not proof. Even if we believe the earliest date I've ever seen reported for COVID-19 infection, that would be in November 2019. Which means that China had at the absolute most about a month to a month and a half before they really started kicking into gear and locking things down and closing stuff and all that kind of stuff. So that's the worst case that we can devise for China. That's not good, but it's a lot gooder than H1N1 or SARS or almost any other epidemic that we can follow. So it's the type of thing where you go, there's a lot to criticize, but when you actually compare it to things, you go, well, then you have to criticize everyone in the entire world because it's actually done pretty quickly. On the other hand, it's been more than twice that length of time that the United States has known about this, and they have done basically nothing except reject testing kits, stop reporting the tests, wildly underreport the cases, and tell people not to wear masks. I mean, this is just a repeat of the H1N1 situation. They seem to be just allowing as many people to get sick as they can in their own interests and just doing nothing about it. It doesn't have to be that. That's maybe not the only explanation. They could just be totally incompetent idiots. That's also potential. And this is something that people on the right will often accuse the government of being is, no, they're just incompetent. Well, that may be the case, but this is way more incompetent than any other country that we know of right now. So that's really sad for me to see the United States either be extremely incompetent in this, or be so sinister and disgusting that they're just intentionally letting everyone get sick and letting people die for their own motivations, whatever those may be.
Don't believe the numbers when you see, even on our Johns Hopkins website, there are probably 25 to 50 people who have the virus for every one person who's confirmed. Oh, I think we have between 50,000 and 500,000 cases right now walking around in the United States. Look, we've got to abandon this idea that this virus is contained.
This is crazy. That's more than the reported cases for the entire world combined. That's how many cases appear to be in the United States, according to this professor. Then he goes on to say that the CDC made mistakes. We don't know why they made those mistakes. We don't know why they continue to make those mistakes every single day. We don't know why they made the mistake of editing their website to stop reporting testing, or why they made the mistake of never answering about that and just never updating it and ignoring everyone that asks them. We don't know why those mistakes keep happening. It says here that in 3 months, they only tested less than 14,000 people, compared to South Korea, who's done over 100,000 cases in the same time, and the UK did 25,000. That is ridiculous. Do you know the population of America? Here he's saying we could see 200,000 new patients, up to 2 million. And then, weirdly, he says China was not transparent. Iran was not transparent. But Italy has been extremely transparent. What about the United States? Much, much less transparent than those countries. Much less transparent. It's just insane to me that there are so many people out there that will defend this and say, what are you talking about? Excuse, excuse, excuse. It's like, this is just America telling everybody else that they're not transparent and then being the least transparent of all of them and then just denying it and then using propaganda to brainwash everybody into going around defending the US CDC. Of all the potential villains in this entire outbreak, the US CDC is really stepping up to be number one, and that's pathetic. And the craziest part about this is when I watch, for example, Tim Pool or any of these other political commentators, they constantly say stuff like, no, I don't know if I trust those numbers from China. Oh, I don't know about that. And they almost never say anything about the CDC. Meanwhile, the CDC seems to be doing every single thing that it can do to intentionally crush these numbers down to a tiny little ball and say, see, everything's fine, guys, and just ignore everyone who asks questions or label them as conspiracy theorists. So this is just really depressing, and to all my friends in America, do not listen to the American CDC. And that's not me saying it. That's Johns Hopkins telling you this. So please stop listening to them tell you not to wear masks and not to worry and only worry about crowds over 500 people. Stay home, be safe, and don't get sick. Until next time, thanks everybody. 谢谢。